Skype. We are live on Skype.
Hey, all right. Welcome to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Anthony, the producer, along with my other hosts, Tommy and Theron. Jam episode as usual with the Bros Before Elbows. Grab your pitchforks. We're going to talk about the fallout of Hell in the Cell. Hey, it's the Wednesday Night Wars. We're going to talk about some AEW versus NXT. We're also going to talk about some other wrestling news. Got some good shout outs for some folks out there in the internet world. Other than that, welcome to the show. How you guys doing?
There's no time, man. That Bray Wyatt ending was crap, dude. Actually, I've cooled down a lot since Sunday night, and I've cooled down a lot since Friday night when Cain Velasquez showed up and beat up Brock Lesnar. After WWE just made Brock Lesnar their champ, they jobbed him out to Cain Velasquez 30 seconds after he became champ. And that was 60 seconds after they did Kofi wrong. This is ridiculous. I'm Tommy. I'm over in Arizona. Theron, what's up in Texas, man? Are you cool down?
I'm still scratching my head there, King. I'm still scratching my head. How do you go from the pinnacle of success, the only company on TV that's relevant, to this? You come up with this cool idea, and then you just job that ish. Yeah, I said ish. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just job out. You job it out. You job out Kofi Kingston's memorable title reign to Brock Lesnar. And you job out a Hell in a Cell match to a how do you call a match that's not a non-callable match? Like, how do you do that? I don't get it.
Well, I have some thoughts on that, but, you know, should we go into it right now? We'll go into it.
Oh, yeah, we're going right into it.
Yeah.
Okay, look, listen.
There's no time for inner circles. This is our show, and it's time to get some damn answers.
Okay, well, here's what happened. Just to alleviate the air, because everybody immediately was peeved. That yes, I did hit the button. So everyone was peeved that it was a DQ in a Hell in the Cell. Okay, first let's clear the air. It was not a disqualification. This was a Bray could not defend himself. So the ref had to call the match, just like any combat
right
sport.
There, King. He's the Fiend. He just no-sold like 15 moves in a row. He's clearly indestructible. What do you mean he couldn't defend himself?
He also was buried under the freaking ladder and wasn't moving for minutes, dude.
Because he was playing possum.
Yeah, that's still all the ref had to do.
Yeah. The ref had to do what the ref had to do.
It's still all at a one count. Yeah, I think the biggest problem with that, besides the red lighting, besides that they start the whole match with a collar and elbow tie up like it's a normal wrestling match, that was really dumb. Besides all that, the thing that bothered me is that segment went on way too long with Seth Rollins beating up the Fiend, man. Even if he was playing possum, it's like, dude, you sold it enough, man. He used every weapon possible under the ring. Just get up and do something, man. I get playing a possum, I get getting up at the one counts, but like, Fiend, come on, man, get up and do something, man. You're hurting your character right here just by laying there. It went on way too long. I don't know how long that little sequence went on, but it felt like it was like 15 minutes long of just Rollins hitting the Fiend over and over again of head strikes.
Can he recover from this? Is the real question.
Oh, of course, yeah. Yeah,
because I think he'll recover just fine. Man, Rollins' runs have just been awful as champion, and he keeps proving that. He keeps tweeting to reprove it. Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch was a better match than this. Like, I thought it was cool that the Fiend was like no selling all those moves, you know, and I was like, all right, they're gonna pull the trigger, and then that was the trigger that they pulled, and they got enough internet backlash. So now I'm just trying to understand the meaning behind all this. So I'm like, they'll explain all this on Monday Night Raw. I even recorded Monday Night Raw, and they still didn't explain anything. They just said that Bray Wyatt was not cleared to compete. I don't remember Seth Rollins being on the show at all. And then the Fiend shows up when the cameras stop rolling, and they have their post Tyson Fury Braun Strowman, which is another good load of crap that they're doing. Have their post that brawl, Cesaro versus Miz fight, in which the Fiend shows up and attacks Cesaro. Like, for what? Like, why Cesaro? What is this character?
I did not like that they spent 3 hours on Monday night during the main event of in the Cell. Like, you can't do that, man. That's your Universal title. That's the Fiend. That's your hottest act going right now, and you ignore it for the 3 hours on Raw? Are you kidding me, WWE? I mean, come on. I don't want to spend like the next hour bashing WWE for all their misgivings the past week, but man, this was the week, man. AEW just came out with a hot show on Wednesday. This is the time to put your best foot forward, and then they do the SmackDown, which is kind of okay if you here and there, except for the ending, which I didn't like the main event of that. And then Hell in the Cell, the main event of that, and then they followed up with Monday Night Raw, 3 hours of crap. I mean, this is WWE's chance, man. Like, AEW is right there. They're not coming for your spot. They're already there. They're looking for competition, and this is WWE putting their best foot forward. And these are the 3 things that I remember: a bad Monday Night Raw, a bad Hell in the Cell main event, a bad SmackDown main event. I mean, that's a sour taste in your mouth if you're a pro wrestling fan.
Well,
oh man,
let me stop you right there, because you guys both hate Brock Lesnar as the reigning, defending, undisputed, well, now WWE champion, 5-time champion, mind you. But I mean, I always get excited for the fact that means that someone else later on down the line will get pushed to take the title off the Beast. I don't know who that person's going to be. It could be a bevy of people. I feel like they did Kofi real dirty. I mean, I think that match was like 15 seconds if you count the bell ringing, the F5, and then the 3 count. And then you give Kofi like 3 extra seconds of recovery time when Rey Mysterio showed up. So we'll just throw that all into one match together. But, I mean, putting the belt on Lesnar's cool. Kofi had his run, but the rest of this stuff is just, what are you going to do with the Fiend now? Is the feud over? Is it going to resume this Monday? You're like 0 for 2 on Monday Night Raws. You're opening up your second of your new season of the show with this Lana and Bobby Lashley storyline, which is pure crap also. I think that's like a Paul Heyman play. I don't know. I don't even understand why they're doing that. I guess. Well, actually, I don't know. They haven't really explained it yet, to be completely honest.
I think to Tommy's point, AEW is eating WWE's lunch, and it's funny because WWE was like, we're not trying to eat anybody's lunch, and then AEW is just swooping on in, taking them off their footing, putting them in some weird creative positions because they got caught with their pants down, and they don't know how to recover from it. So, I think first and foremost, I think Hell in the Cell, every match that came on, I went, okay. I was watching it with Superfan Dan.
Nice.
And as I'm watching it, I go, well, if anything, this is like a testing ground pay-per-view for matches and feuds and pairs of wrestlers that may not really be featured on a pay-per-view. So I guess if you don't have anything booked, clearly you can put anything together. Mm-hmm. So, okay. Like you got, what was it? Ali versus Randy Orton.
Yeah.
You had, I can't even remember all the matches.
The Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, which was a really good match.
That was a cool
quietly
match.
Cool. There was a turn in that. There was a heel face. There was a double turn-ish. I guess Nikki and Alexa are already faces, but that was cool. Like, now Asuka's back. And funny enough, maybe 2 episodes ago, because I was listening to our show. It's a great show, by the way, listeners. You should listen if you're not already listening, which you would be, because how would you know I was saying this? We were just talking about them riding off into the sunset, and now they're the tag champs, and Asuka has a mist as part of her arsenal, and Kairi Sane is no longer like the princess or the captain of the sky, whatever she is. She's just a chicken pigtails, man. So, like, big ups to that. So they did some cool stuff with the undercard that they didn't tell us about until Sunday when the show came on.
Literally, that was going to be my next point was we had a show 4 days before the pay-per-view even aired, and we had 4 matches, and 2 of them weren't even like actually matches that happened at Hell in the Cell. They happened at like SmackDown or whatever. So again, it was like Hell in the Cell to me was, again, this was loosely put together with shoestring and gum. That was it. The ending definitely was put together with shoestring and gum. Personally, I feel a little teensy bit vindicated that the Fiend was restrained and subdued in some way that he couldn't have just been beaten clean. So, okay, I get it. He gets hit in the head with a toolbox and a sledgehammer, and the ref is like, "This is too violent," whatever, or the guy can't defend himself, whatever, for whatever reason, right? It's a no contest. So calls the match. Everybody gets their pitchforks and literally is like ready to like, storm the ring. But again, that just proves again that Hell in the Cell was by far the loosest put together at the last minute pay-per-view ever that I think WWE has ever done. I mean, I feel like even their crappiest pay-per-view that they actually put time and energy and creative into doesn't hold a candle to how quickly this thing was slapped together. And they're paying for it. I mean, clearly they're paying for it. And again, AEW in the background is eating their lunch.
Roadblock or Great Balls of Fire come to mind, or No Mercy or some other random
in your house.
In your house. I feel like despite all that, despite having, like you said, you record the show on Wednesday and then we fast forward to Sunday afternoon and there's still only 4 matches on the card, but they could have redeemed themselves if the Fiend just went over clean on Seth Rollins. Just pull the plug on the Seth Rollins title reign, make the Fiend just squash him in 5 minutes or a 10-minute match instead of their 17-minute match or whatever they did. They could have redeemed themselves. They had WWE had an out, and they stubbed their toe in a bunch of Legos, man, and they didn't know how to react on Monday either. They just doubled down on their idiocy.
But let's not discredit the cool things that happened. Like Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks was a really good match. I don't know if you guys watched it, but that was an opener, and then they really just kind of crap the bed from there. But that was a good match. I love that match. Establishes Becky as the man, and Anthony's been on the Becky bandwagon since Becky was Steampunk Becky, and now she's the man, and she's cool. She's like, I don't want to compare her to Stone Cold because I don't know if I don't think anyone will ever be that big, but she's up there in like BAMF type, like don't take no crap. She has an ESPN commercial. You know how hard it is to be an ESPN commercial? It's really hard.
She has three, man. I saw the one where she's ordering something at the coffee counter, and then I saw another one where she's at the snack machine, and there's another one where she's walking down the hallway.
The snack.
Yeah, I just saw that one today. Me and little Tommy saw that one. Ace Kid Reporter. And there's another one where he's walking down the hallway and just like body checks the Rutgers mascot for no reason.
Oh, I didn't even see that one. By the way, Little Tommy is the ultimate spoiler. He's an Ace Kid Reporter. He's good at his job. I was listening to last week's episode, and if I had tuned in, he would have ruined the fact that Finn Balor showed up on NXT, and he also would have talked, well, you guys all ruined the Jake Hager surprise. By the way, Jake Hager. Yeah. Jake, not Jack. My last name's not Swagger. It's Hager. Don't confuse that. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I'm not completely upset as the rest of the internet, as most of the middle-aged fan base or 20-something-year-old fan base that's so PO'd, because we knew that WWE is just, they're just really high on Seth Rollins. Let's face the facts. I said they, not us. Yeah, he's been the champion 3 or 4 times, roughly. Universal twice. I think he had 1 or 2 WWE championship runs. Injuries in between, so I don't know. They just feel like he's up there with his wife, or his soon-to-be wife, who's kind of outshowing and outdoing him right now. And I agree with you. I think they should have just went with it. I just don't know. I guess maybe they didn't know what to do with the Universal title reign of the Fiend, but you could have done so many things with that. You got this good little Mr. Rogers creeper hood Firefly Funhouse. The Joker movie just came out, which is a great movie, by the way.
Don't spoil it.
Why would I spoil it? I said it was a great movie. If Joaquin Phoenix doesn't win an Oscar, well, maybe there'll be a riot. I don't know. It was good. But it's the same kind of concept. 2 psychopaths. Bray Wyatt is clearly unhinged. He has multiple personalities, which he's put into puppets. And that could have been so cool with a red title. But now, I don't even know. I feel like they're just going to sweep it under the rug. They probably won't finish the feud. They're just going to they're just going to promote Crown Jewel or Jewel Shillelagh or whatever it's called. I think so. They got coming up.
Shillelagh.
I wish they would change it to Jewel Shillelagh, man. Called? No, it's called Crown Jewel. Just Crown Jewel. We're taking Saudi Arabian Blood Bunny.
A year ago, that same pay-per-view is where they crowned the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Oh, man, it's been that long ago?
He just left television as of Friday. Spoiler alert, he was fired.
I think the only thing we didn't hear is from Anthony's take on Brock Lesnar. I know had a mixed message because you were kind of done with Kofi, but are you happy that WWE went with Brock Lesnar again on Friday night? Yeah.
No, I'm stupid, but at the same time, it makes sense. It's a new network. Of course, they're going to put their top guy, Brock Lesnar. They're going to give him the belt. They're going to push Kofi aside. Guess what, Kofi? You had your run. The timing was perfect. Ride the wave until we sign the like when the ink dries on the contract. That's when your title reign is over.
What about Super Caína Velasquez or whatever Rey Mysterio called him in that Raw interview?
Apparently, he's not signed. I guess something fell through. I don't know. I read something on somewhere that like Cain Velasquez won't be in WWE. Like something fell through. So maybe this was just a flash in a pan type deal. But the only thing that was sort of cool was that Brock Lesnar looked visibly distraught over Cain Velasquez.
That is so dumb, man. You just made him champion. Why would you make him visibly distraught? Like, why?
Because Cain Velasquez is the only man that's ever beaten Brock Lesnar, apparently.
That's not true.
Let's not. Yeah, I know. Seth Rollins, Bill Goldberg, that one guy. I think it was the guy with the Cobra. What's his name? I'm just making that up.
Encino Morella?
Yeah, he probably beat Brock. No, but they did have him looking scared, and you know that part was obviously part of the show. I'm not gonna keep the lines blurred. But yeah, like why Cain Velasquez? Oh, because he's Dominic's godfather. All of a sudden, isn't Rey Mysterio like 45? Cain Velasquez is like our age. So
it doesn't make sense.
Dominic's godfather.
It's. I think Eddie Guerrero is actually his real godfather, and
so Cain Velasquez is not his godfather. So you just want us to not know that. See, that's just horrible booking again. Just like,
great. Sorry, man. I didn't mean to.
How long has Cain Velasquez been a pro wrestler for?
Less than a couple months, man. This is like Ronda Rousey all over again, except Ronda Rousey is like 10 times bigger star than Cain Velasquez ever was in MMA. So it's just like, this is just crazy. I don't know like what WWE is thinking.
Why are they putting Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury, two people who haven't been in the WWE at all of a sudden at the top of the card? Like, I don't understand.
Because it's a ratings push. They're not caring about the story. They're just literally caring about the ratings. That's it.
That's gonna shoot themselves in the foot, man.
Push when he wrestled Bam Bam Bigelow at WrestleMania?
He did, man, and it was horrible.
Did he get a ratings push for that? He got a push? That the ratings were good for that? That was a horrible WrestleMania.
Hey, man, I don't agree with it, but what I will say is, again, AEW is eating WWE's lunch. They're eating their lunch.
That could be the title of the episode.
MMA and boxers have these high-pitched voices. Like, I thought Tyson Fury was like going to be like, this burly, like, yo, Adrian. And then he's like, sounds like he's from Wales, but his voice is like really high pitched. Like,
I said
I'm not afraid of him.
Tyson Fury is like the third most popular boxer, the third most popular heavyweight. Not the third, not even the first or the second most popular heavyweight. He's like the third. So WWE didn't even get like, and Cain Velasquez lost his last fight in UFC. So why didn't they get the guy who beat?
He's not even in UFC anymore, is he?
I don't think he is anymore. I think they might have released him. So like WWE, man, you're getting like third rate and people who just lost their jobs kind of stars to try to pop ratings, man. You're not even getting Mike Tyson in his prime anymore.
AEW's got Jake Hager. Sorry.
Okay, well that's I don't know if that's a point or a negative for AEW, but yeah.
It's a point. Did you not see the fans marking out for Jake Hager, chanting "We the People" and just completely losing their minds about this secret surprise? By the way, Ace Kid Tommy Reporter, shout out again. Where is CM Punk? Well, he might be on Fox signing a deal to be part of WWE's weekly whatever they're doing or however many.
That would be insane. That would be insane. I'd love that. But I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I don't know if it will either. But I mean, we all thought Bret Hart would never go back to WWE, and he did. So never say never.
Yeah, never say never. And Todd Phillips is gone.
Yeah, where's Todd?
His name is Tom.
What happened to Renee Young? Who's Dio? Whatever his name. Who is that guy? Where did he come from?
His name's Tom Phillips. And his name is Dio Madden. Dio Madden's horrible.
Dio Madden.
Who is that guy? Why'd they replace him with Todd Phillips? Or why'd they get rid of Todd Phillips for that guy?
What about Byron Saxton?
Who cares
No, he
about
was
Byron
doomed.
Saxton?
He was
Where's
doomed
Tom
to go.
Phillips?
Byron was doomed from the beginning.
He was.
he's-
Corey Graves buried him so much. It's like way too much, man. But I was coming around to Byron Saxton towar's the end.
Yeah, but no one is telling me who Dio Madden is.
Dio Madden, he's a former football player. He's got signed to NXT. I guess they found out he couldn't really wrestle, so they moved him over to commentary. And for the last month, maybe, he was on 205 Live doing commentary. So he went from 205 Live as his first commentary gig to right to Monday Night Raw. And I'm sorry, man. I'm trying to give him 2 weeks time. Maybe he'll improve over the month, but 2 weeks, not good, man. Jerry King Lawler was walking all over him.
Who's Big Joseph is also from the 205 Live?
He's good, man. He's a good play-by-play announcer.
Oh, I know, but who is he?
205 Live, yeah. I think he did NXT UK too as well.
So they just took two guys from a show that no one watches and put them on Raw. Then they moved Michael and Corey over, and they get rid of Renee Young. Did they not like Renee Young?
I didn't see Renee Young at all on SmackDown. I watched it kind of half, but I didn't see her unless you guys saw her.
No, she's not on there. She's not on either show. That's why I'm asking what happened to Renee Young. She's gonna pops up in AEW.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. She is hosting that FS1 show with Booker T and potentially CM Punk. That weekly WWE talk show that they're gonna do on Tuesday nights, I think.
Talking
Does
Smack.
that start?
Yeah, it is kind of like Talking Smack. I don't know when that. I think it starts in November.
November
to remember.
I thought Talking Smack was good.
I love Talking Smack.
Good.
Yeah, I love that.
But they already pulled her off commentary. She was so good. Well,
she was good, yeah.
Yeah, she was cool, man. I mean, at least Beth Phoenix is still down in NXT, and her husband might be wrestling again, but who cares? No, her husband is Edge.
You think you know him?
Yeah. He might be trying to get cleared to wrestle one more time, or 5, or back to wrestling. Period. I don't know. You like that?
No, man.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's just another reach into the past, right? I don't know.
I love Edge, man, but that's been 7 or 8 years now, hasn't it? It's been a while.
Yeah, he won the title, I think, around the time I started paying for WrestleManias. His last reign, he beat Alberto Del Rio, and then I think probably literally the next night or a week later on Raw, he was like, I got to retire. My next bro.
Yeah, I think that's WrestleMania 28. We're heading into WrestleMania 36 up here, yeah.
We're heading into WrestleMania 36. Oh, my God.
Yeah. It's whatever age we are, it's the WrestleMania we're on, Darren.
You're right, because the first one was in '83. That's actually accurate. Wow.
Yep,
Well, I'll never forget how old you guys are.
Yeah, but it was a way cooler one. That was like Roddy Piper and Mr. Wonderful versus Mr. T and Hulk Hogan. All people.
Mr. T was cool though back then. He wasn't a third-rate actor.
That's what I'm saying. And now we have this. You take I'm just going back. You take this really cool, awesome idea that I think Bray Wyatt almost came up with on his own. I don't really know. And you're like, I don't think it's hindered. I think he'll be fine because he has support from the fans. People are just mad at the way they booked it, but I want to see what they do with him now. I mean, you beat up a guy so bad that you sent him all the way back to NXT forever. I don't think he's ever coming back up. Or is there an up anymore? Are they all brands of their own now?
I think they're all brands of their own.
But I'm curious about with the draft if Raw or SmackDown draft anyone from NXT on Friday, because Friday night is the first night of the draft with SmackDown.
Ooh, that's a big deal. And then
I think it'd be really foolish if they did.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Yeah, we go back to brand exclusivity though, right? So everyone's staying on the brand. No more wild card rule. No more 4 horse. But the 4 horsewoman feud is so cool. So are they all going to go? Well, no, they can't.
Yeah, I like think that they can. Yeah,
that's probably my favorite storyline right now. That and whatever the Fiend is doing, honestly. And I don't know. We'll see what all happens in the next. I guess 48 hours we get the first draft, and then Monday we get the rest of the draft.
Exactly. Yeah, but besides that, I don't really see too much happening in WWE. To be honest, okay. I like the tag title feuds with the women, with Alexa Bliss, Nikki Cross, the Kabuki Warriors. That could be cool. But yeah, other than that, Intercontinental title scene, U.S. title scene, anything? Bueller? Nothing?
I mean, the OC is trying to be a faction. AJ Styles got knocked out, at Hell in a Cell in some like random, I think it was a 6-man tag that they just came up with at the last minute. And now he's feuding with, I don't even remember. That's how I watched all of Raw too. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some cool storylines with the women. Lacey Evans and Natalya had a last man standing match. It was actually good for Lacey Evans. They're trying to get her better as a wrestler. I guess when you suck at wrestling as a woman, you wrestle Natalya so you get better. So I think that she's one of the most technically sound wrestlers. That was good. There's some cool stuff. It's not cool. It's just there's stuff that they're doing okay on that no one's paying attention to, and then there's those head scratching like, why did you do that moments? And that's what Hell in a Cell was. But maybe they'll make up for it in the next big pay-per-view or on Friday.
It does seem like Friday Night SmackDown was like 5 years ago after having Raw, Hell in a Cell, Raw, NXT, and AEW in between all that. And NWA Power, according to Anthony.
Dude, NWA Power, dude.
It's Magnus as their champion, man. I can't respect that.
Dude, he's been the champ for like 3 years now.
Yeah, he has been.
That's horrible.
That's an awful storyline. I don't even think he wrestles under the name Magnus anymore. Does he wrestle as Magnus still?
No, he goes under Nick Aldis.
Yeah, that's right. He goes by like name.
Oh man, that's like NXT having Bobby Roode as their champion for 3 years. I can't think of anything worse that could make me turn off.
No, it's cool, dude. It is so like it's purposefully, for lack of better words, there's not a lot of production into it. It's just straight up like it looks like it's from the 80s. It looks like it's filmed in the Armory with better, more seating, darker lighting. And it's just like a lot of promos, but the wrestling is cool. Like it just seems like old school 80s wrestling, but it's NWA Power. And Billy Corgan, I think, is running it, if I'm not mistaken. So out of nowhere, dude, NWA, dude, just freaking comes out of nowhere and has their own little show. And I'm down with it, dude. It's on Fight. And yeah, dude, if anything's on Fight, I'm gonna watch it. You know what I mean?
That's true, man. I think this is so much pro wrestling. It's a good time to be a pro wrestling fan, man. This is like Ring of Honor, NWA, New Japan, Impact. Impact's getting a new night. I think Impact will start wearing on Tuesday in a couple weeks after Bound for Glory. AEW, NXT, WWE. I mean, crazy. So much wrestling out there. Unbelievable.
It is, and I second that. It is, despite what current storylines are doing, now is an excellent time. Actually, now is an excellent time for a lot of things. Now is an excellent time to be a pro wrestling fan, to be involved in whatever promotion you want, right? If you want to watch AEW, great. You want to watch NXT, great. You want to watch Raw, great. You want to watch SmackDown, great. You want to watch NWA, great. You want to watch ROH, great. You want to watch New Japan Pro Wrestling, great. You want to watch Blue Collar Wrestling, great. You want to watch WCW or WCWC, great. Yeah, you want to watch Pro Wrestling Guerrilla, great. It's everywhere. Like 5 years ago, you wouldn't be able to list that many promotions.
Definitely, yeah.
So it's cool because you have your mix, right? You have all these different flavors and types. So bottom line is there's so much pro wrestling happening right now. It is absolutely a cultural thing to be a part of, and it's exciting. So regardless of what's happening, it's fun that there's so much of it out there, and that it's become more popular and more widely talked about.
Wild. Well, man, do you guys catch any AEW or NXT over the last week?
I still don't have Hulu Plus for $90 a month. I don't have so no, I just read about AEW. I read about how there's a feud between Jon Moxley and Kenny Omega, and how Kenny Omega came out with a barbed wire broom.
He did, man.
That's a bat.
Awesome.
He also had a barbed wire bat.
He did.
And Pac was there.
Yeah, Neville, dude. Pac was on commentary, man. Like Pac, man. Talk about a guy who like left WWE, had like to walk through the storm, had to like wait out his contract, and now he's like on the good side of it. Good for him.
Oh, yeah, he's winning.
He did make a comment saying that he, out of his whole tenure of being a professional wrestler, that he was never pinned, or that he was like.
He said he lost one match in the last.
Well, I want to fact check that. Can we get Snopes on that?
I'm pretty sure he's been pinned more than once.
I was gonna say he has to have been pinned, but he said, in his whatever Australian, Scottish, Irish, whatever accent.
Alienated 3 countries right there.
I don't know his accent. Whatever. He has a cool accent. He has a cool accent. I couldn't even do the accent. So his eclectic vernacular.
He used to do that. Man. He used to say the king of the cruiserweights. He used to be able to say that, Ant. I remember that from 3 or 4 years ago.
The king of the cruiserweights, but no one cares about that anymore because he's not a cruiserweight anymore.
No, my point is he had to have been pinned multiple times. So I don't know where he's pulling that from.
He was cruiserweight champ for a while, but he's lost at least twice because he lost his NXT title. He also lost the cruiserweight title. So that's 2 losses right there.
I think that's his heel saying stuff and making people Google it. It makes people argue about it on podcasts. Like, he accomplished his goal right there.
He's going to insert himself into that 3-way feud between Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley.
That could be crazy, man. I don't know who takes the pin in that match. Hopefully not Kenny Omega, man. He's lost a lot of matches since he's gone to AEW.
Oh, yeah. He's lost a lot of matches. AEW's on fire right now. Jericho's faction is called the Inner Circle. If you didn't know, they have T-shirts. You can buy them now. I'm not shamelessly plugging him. I just read all this on the internet.
Hold on. Quick note. You can't buy them because they broke ProWrestlingTees.com's server.
They crashed it so hard, man.
They crashed the server.
I believe that. I don't know how many people actually wanted to buy that shirt, but whatever. Nonetheless.
Enough to crash the server.
That's kind of crazy. Yeah,
the Young Bucks are already out of the AEW tag title tournament. They lost in the first round to Private Party.
That's insane, man. It's like the rookies beating the veterans.
Yeah, the elites keep losing. Just keep taking L's.
Yeah, Cody. Yeah, I think Cody's gotten some L's too as well. So I mean, like, can people complain like they thought like those 4 were gonna win all the matches? Like, they're kind of throwing a little curveball at everyone. I think everyone appreciates that.
That's what makes them better than WWE right now. Right now, this week in and week out. WWE is. I'm not saying they're sinking. I mean, they're a $1 billion company. They got plenty of things that they're doing outside of the ring, so they're not gonna go anywhere. But as far as their production on TV, they really suck right now. They're the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked to suck.
Dang, man. Again, I'm just going to say it. AEW is eating WWE's lunch.
You should get a shirt made that says that.
I'm telling you, man. It's the truth. That's what's happening.
I think the only thing we can hope for is that we can our truth with little Jimmy. The only thing we can hope for is that like AEW is gonna like kick the giant enough that the giant being WWE notices, hey man, we gotta get off our ass and do something about this. We have to change what we're doing. Like maybe having everything stop and start with a 70-year-old man, aka Vince McMahon, as the final word, as the final sign off and everything. Maybe that's not the best direction to go in 2019. Maybe we should rethink the way we do TV, the way we write storylines, the way we even schedule house shows and keep our talent on the road so much. Like maybe we should rethink all of that, and maybe AEW will be the catalyst that does that.
I think they will be.
Awesome. That would be awesome.
I think AEW, if I'm not mistaken, they actually offer like healthcare and benefits, right, to their talent.
Yeah, they do have a much smaller roster, but they do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was one of their main talking points. That hey, we're gonna run a lighter schedule, not do a crazy house show run like WWE's, not have our talent work 5 days a week and then traveling from place to place and it's putting that wear and tear on their bodies. I think that was a big part of their appeal and a big part of why WWE is locking up so much of their talent over the last couple of months and signing people to new long-term deals and offering crazy amount of money to people, stuff like that, to keep talent under wraps and prevent them from going to AEW, which I think WWE's done a pretty good job. And then what AEW's been able to do in the first 2 weeks is create some new talent, some new stars they've been able to create, like MJF, Samuel Guevara. doing good, kind of creating some of their own stars, which many people thought they couldn't do so quickly.
Well, to your point, Tommy, you just talked about this, how a lot of people thought that the Elite would be unstoppable, that the show would just be centered around them not losing matches. But as they are losing, and they're not in the main pictures, the Young Bucks, aren't even in the tournament, constantly losing. Cody taking some L's. I think that kind of shows like, yeah, hey, there's something to look forward to because you don't know what's going to happen. And then also too on the back end of things, a lighter schedule, offering benefits, things like that. Like, yeah, that's like, wow, like WWE doesn't do that. It is a grueling schedule. It's a grueling schedule. You got to work your ass off. You got to market and promote yourself. You got to sell your merchandise. You got to be, you got to be willing to like be in the game all the time. And I think the model is changing. I think AEW is that like breath of fresh air that, again, they're not trying to compete with anybody, right? Like, I think to their words, like they just want to exist and offer another style of wrestling. It just so happened that WWE, the big behemoth, is like, oh yeah, well, we won't compete with you guys, but we'll just go ahead and launch on the same night and, have all these crazy stars and like basically throw their money around and throw their contracts around. But in the end, dude, again, Chris Jericho broke the internet. Literally broke ProWrestlingTees.com for his new stable that came out like that. When was the last time, if ever, WWE had a server crash because of so much merch being sold, so much merchandise being sold? I don't think that's ever happened.
That's true, man. Maybe I think the last time when CM Punk won the title from John Cena, and they had that cool white shirt with the red thing and had the date on the back of it for Money in the Bank. I think it's the last time I could think of. There's probably maybe someone can write in with an example or send us an email or hit us on Twitter of an example, but that's one I can think of off the top of my head. But other than that, yeah. I think the good thing about AEW is like every time WWE does something wrong, you now have an alternative to compare it to. And this week's 2 hours of AEW was even better than their last two. It was better than their debut. From start to finish as a 2-hour TV show, I think it was better than their debut. So they improved upon that. So they're kind of 2-0 right now, which is kind of cool. So it's interesting because they could have fumbled after the big debut, maybe just emptied their clip too much and wasted all their ideas in the first show. But nope, they had a better second show. So it's kind of interesting. They keep building the blocks slowly, but it's interesting to watch AEW's progress.
I'm telling you, man, they're eating WWE's lunch. Hey, you gonna eat that?
Theron, thoughts? Theron get booted from the call? Oh no.
Oh no.
I don't know, man. Oh geez. Hopefully he's recording wherever he's recording on his Audacity. Let's see if I can add him back in. I don't know if I can do that, but yeah, I don't know what happened. One group member not in the call. This is live on air.
If he gets back on Skype, he'll be able to join the call.
Yeah, it's calling right now, so let's see what happens. I was wondering why he wouldn't say anything during our epic AEW rant.
Oh, man.
We only got like 10, 15 minutes left in the show. Oh, it says Theron's unavailable. This would be a mystery. I don't know. Maybe someone from Connecticut got to Theron and unplugged his internet.
Oh, no. Triple H himself got mad.
Yeah, it's hit him with the sledgehammer. It pedigreed him right
on
the spot.
Man. Well, since we got a little break skis here, I'm just gonna do a quick little infomercial or commercial here. So we banter a lot and we're always asking questions on the show. We would love to hear your feedback. Right, best way to do that: follow us on Twitter, leave comments on Facebook, check out our YouTube page, check us out on Instagram. Of course, subscribe. Smash that subscribe button on Podbean and find us on iTunes. Also, we are on Cage Side Seats. By the way, quick shout out. I can't remember their names exactly, but there were a couple of comments that were left on one of our previous episodes, and it motivated me so much that we are integrating new ways of getting cleaner, better audio on Cage Side, on iTunes and Podbean. So motivated so much, went out and bought a new microphone specifically for Skyping, so that way it's cleaner. So I appreciate it. Your comments do not go unheard, right? Like they do not go unattended to. So
I got their names. It's Monkey Epics, who asked about our audio, and then Leon Mirren, who liked our Bailey and Raymond Rabbit jokes from that episode.
Nice. Well, hey, they get a shout out during the show. And again, thank you. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for letting us know. I mean, one of the first comments was, whoever speaks first, I can't hear him. And I'm listening to really good speakers and really good headphones. And I listened to it and was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And so I knew, I was like, man, if this has got to be cleaner. So again, I went out and had to figure out a solution to make it so that way the show is better. And again, so if you want to give us feedback, you want to be a part of the conversation, we absolutely encourage that and absolutely invite you to do so. Email us, brosbeforeelbows@gmail.com. That's the number 4. You can add us at Twitter. Of course, Bros Before Elbows, the number 4. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Cage Side. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You know, I can't promote it enough. But yeah, if you're a pro wrestling fan, which now is the best time to be a part of it because of the abundance of talent, the abundance of story, the abundance of conversation, it is all out there. And we would love to have you be a part of that conversation as well. So needless to say, we'll get back into the last 10 minutes of our show here.
There's back.
Hey, all right.
Oh, sorry. What are you gonna say? I was gonna shout out the people on Twitter real quick. Was doing shout outs, might as well. Mason Way laughed at our joke about Cain Velasquez on Twitter, so I appreciate him. And then Brandon Dietz, he said he loves Cain Velasquez, but no one in WWE knows who he is. So I agree with that. And then Joe Lurte, he said everyone, when Cain Velasquez came out on SmackDown, thought it was Dominic who grew up. Dominic, Rey Mysterio's son, grew up and got tattoos within a 1 week's time, shaved his head. And I laughed at that. I thought it was funny. So thank you guys for interacting with us on Twitter.
Hello?
Heck yeah. Hey, what's up, Theron?
Theron, let's interact with Theron. Back on the mic.
It's totally fine. We just had some technical difficulties right there mid-show. Guys, make sure you use your batteries. So, yeah, we'll get into that later. Luckily, I was able to recover some files, and, hopefully it'll all sound okay.
Did you press that red button again?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't, because I don't want to lose the file I already have. You want me to record 2 files? Should I press it again?
You can actually move the cursor ahead of where you last recorded, and then start recording again. It won't bust over what you've already done.
Let's just do that then.
Sure.
Let's hit record again. Boom, and we're back in there. Anyway, back to what we were doing.
The magic of live. I was gonna say, as Theron, what do you think about AEW's second week? And have you been able to watch any NXT as well? Compare the two.
No, before I got rudely booted out of this conversation because my computer is awesome, but it hated me because I've been juicing it all day or not. I didn't watch. I watched last week's episodes of both shows. I read about what all happened tonight on AEW. I was pretty impressed with it. I was able to watch a lot of the GIFs or GIFs, whatever you prefer. I saw some of the little Twitter feeds, but I have them both recorded, so I'm going to go watch them. I don't know if you guys have spoiler alerted anyone or if you care to know that there is a title change on NXT. Do you guys know?
Yeah, I think it's the opening match, so you could probably spoil alert at this point.
Okay, Leo Rush is your new NXT Cruiserweight Champion. He's got a new hairstyle. He's got a new attitude. And quite frankly, I think it's all you need. It's better for him than being the lackey for Bobby Lashley or just a guy that talks. We're getting to see Leo Rush out there. They had like a really good match. Velveteen Dream is taking some personal shots at Roddy Strong's manhood, which I guess is to which Yesamine Duke, which I think is his wife, responded that she was in a wheelchair. We'll save that for another reference for another movie from a later time because this is a G-rated show or a PG show. But again, AEW is still winning to me in the viewership ratings just because of the stories they're telling now. They've ended 2 weeks in a row with chaos in the ring, with people fighting. Sounds very similar to a former promotion that was on TNT a long time ago. But at least these stories are much more edgy. We saw the return of MJF tonight. I just like what they're doing. I'm not going to say that they've caught WWE, but they certainly have WWE pants on the ground. And WWE has said that, you know, we're not in a competition, and so have they, but we know they're in the competition. We also know that they moved NXT from their network, which is $9.99, to a place that you have to pay $90 a month, $45 a month, $50 a month just to watch. Obviously, because they don't want to compete. I'm doing quotation marks right now as if y'all can see them, but you can't. But we know they want to compete. I mean, come on, dude. Like, you put another show on USA, and you pretty much make it its own brand now, right? So yeah, I've been watching it. I'm impressed with both of those two. I think NXT is the only good thing in WWE right now. Obviously, Becky Lynch is good, and then the Fiend. We'll see what they do with him now. But yeah, I'm still in AEW. I'm on the AEW bandwagon. It's growing. It's like the Warriors bandwagon.
Two things about AEW. You can watch the first episode on TNT's website for free, and then on their YouTube channel, they're airing a new show called AEW Dark, where they air all their dark matches for free. So they released that on Tuesday night. So so you can watch all of AEW's dark matches from last week, and then one of the dark matches from this week is Joey Janela versus Kenny Omega, which should be pretty cool. That next week. Yeah, so that's a pretty good dark match. I don't know what the other ones were, but yeah, so it looks like that's what they're kind of doing too as well.
That's much more organic. You have I think he's the vice president, or he's up there obviously, and he's obviously a top draw for AEW, and he's in a dark match. Like, I don't know if that's good or bad, but he's willing to take a back seat, so to speak, to, you know, other up and coming talent that we would probably never see. EC3 is still missing from WWE, and he's been on the main roster for like a year. I only saw him in the ring during that Tyson Fury brawl when they were trying to separate Strowman and Fury, which I guess the internet likes that brawl, but like I said, I don't get it.
It was okay, man. I saw Eric Young in that brawl too, man. It's like it made me miss Sanity, man. Every time I see the Forgotten Sons on NXT, I was like, damn, man, that could have been Sanity still back down there, running a 4-person faction or even a 3-person faction down there, doing good stuff, doing cool things in NXT, man. And then EC3.
Go ahead.
Sorry, even EC3. If I wish he'd go back down to NXT or EC3, just release EC3, man. Release him. Let him go to AEW. How cool would that be, man? Gosh, damn, awesome. Man.
I don't think he wants a release though yet. I mean, if anything, maybe this draft, but the draft is only going to go SmackDown and Raw, right? NXT's not taking a part in this.
I don't think so. We don't know. Yeah.
You don't get moved. You either get moved from NXT to one of those two, but no one's going to show up. I guess if you show up in NXT, you just show up like Finn Balor did, right? Because I wouldn't mind seeing.
I don't know.
He didn't get a lot of time down there. He didn't get any time down there.
No, it was interesting. EC3 held Impact, was keeping them alive for the longest time, and then moved to NXT, and it was like, okay, this could be cool. And they pushed him a little bit. He got some cool matches. And then the moment he went into Raw or SmackDown, yeah, he just was totally forgotten about. And that's disheartening because EC3 is really good on the mic. He's a good heel. He's a good performer. You know, he's got the physique. He's got the style. Like, they just... Again, like, WWE is notorious for this. It's like they just love the fact that they can gobble up talent and, decide to do nothing with them. Like, that's their choice. They do. They're hoarders. They're pro wrestling talent hoarders.
But
that sucks.
I don't think that's so much. I don't think that's like a Triple H thing. I think Triple H. I don't know how much of a jerk he is in real life or fake life. I think he wants everyone to be successful. I think he wants wrestlers to succeed, but I also know he's held some people back. But I just feel like it's Vince McMahon. Like, I think Vince is the catalyst in all of this. If he doesn't like you or doesn't see you as marketable, which he's way out of touch with what's marketable, by the way, you just don't get pushed. Like, I mean, for crying out loud, Rockstar Spud, Drake Maverick, has had way more airtime than EC3. That's terrible if you think about it. And it's in a stupid storyline. Like, what man doesn't get married and consummate his marriage, and then they turn it into a chase for a title that I don't even know who has that title anymore, to be honest, because Carmella lost it already. So
R-Truth got it back, I think.
Oh, come on.
He's a 20-time champ.
He pinned Tamina on Monday Night Raw. Yes, Tamina was champ, I think.
Who? She's
Tamina,
alive?
yeah. Exactly. It made no sense, man. They're even ruining the 24/7 title. It was good, man. It was good for a little bit. And that's the thing with WWE. They kill a joke, man. They have a good joke, and the 24/7 title was a good joke with Drake Maverick and R-Truth. Then they kind of killed it, man. They just kind of ran it into the ground. They did too much with it.
Vince McMahon probably thinks that all this stuff is really good-ish. You know, his sense of humor is so like Saturday Night Live. No, it's not even that good. I was gonna say Saturday Night Live in the '80s, but that was way funnier. Remember Gumby? Remember Eddie Murphy as Gumby, Black Gumby?
He was also Buckwheat. But that's an interesting comparison, man, because like Lorne Michael, top of Saturday Night Live, he's been there since the '70s, has not given up control. They always compare those two, Saturday Night Live with WB. Top of the thing, yeah. That's always a comparison. They compare Saturday Night Live as like why Saturday Night Live has not evolved as much as it should, and maybe not be as funny as it could be. I mean, people always say that. They've been saying that since the '80s, since the '90s. Everyone always complains about their generation of Saturday Night Live being better than the past generation, or the current generation, I should say. But they blame it for Lorne Michael for being at the top and not like delegating his duties, kind of like Vince McMahon in pro wrestling. So Saturday Night Live and WWE is kind of similar.
Is SNL on NBC? It is, right?
They are, yeah.
And NBC is NBC Universal.
Correct, yes.
Which owns USA Networks.
Correct, yeah.
Which Vince McMahon has a show on.
Has been on.
Oh, they're in cahoots. They're definitely in cahoots. Those two probably hang out all the time.
They probably do laugh like, hey, man, how we've gotten our programs on TV for so long and no one's made us change it that much.
Hopefully AEW is a swift kick in the gonads and somebody says something, or I don't know. I don't wish any ill will on Vince, but I just want him to just relinquish control. I mean,
yeah, it's time to pass the torch, man. It's like any business, man. You gotta you gotta succeed. I mean, yeah, pass the torch. Let the younger generation have a shot with, and you're kind of seeing what NXT is doing, which is a lot different than what the main roster does. It's just kind of like
cooler.
Yeah, definitely way cooler. A little taste of what maybe the main roster could be one day.
Gosh.
I'm telling you, man, that's the beauty of AEW. That's the beauty of all these other promotions that are out there. Is it's the behemoth is being rocked. The behemoth is being taken off their footing, and it's no longer just one mega company. You know, they had their time, and that's it, man. This too shall pass. You know, you can't be top dog forever. We have like a couple of minutes left, but I want to end on this note real quick. I just watched the Ballad of Buster Scruggs on Netflix again, and the first it's been out for a while, so I'm gonna spoil whatever the first scene.
What is it about? What's this like? Give me a trailer in 30 seconds.
So okay, in 30 seconds, it's the Ballad of Buster Scruggs and various tales of the American frontier. So it's like it's just like stories of the American frontier. There's 6 of them, right? So the first story is like a cowboy that like rolls into a cantina. He's a sharpshooter, dresses in all white. He's like the best of the best, and you know he's just like he's super intelligent, whatever, and like he like plays cards and this, that, the other. But it's like classic cowboy. He's like top dog, right? And then there's another one about a story about a prospector. Then there's another story about a bank robber. And then there's another story about, and it's like all these like little vignettes, like all these stories. And it's so cool how they do it. Like the Coen brothers did it. And it's like, it's a book, and they open the book and it has like a line. And like, that's the premise of the story. Like one of them is, you know, and Mr. Arthur didn't know what he would tell Mr. Knapp. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Then you watch the story and you're like, oh my God, that's crazy. Or Pan Shot. There's like a scene where like this bank robber's shooting at this guy, and this guy's like covered in a bunch of pots and pans as armor. And every time the bank robber tries to shoot the guy and it hits a pan, he goes, Pan Shot, and like runs around. It's really funny. But it's a really good movie. It's a really good movie. But what I'm saying is, the premise is with Buster Scruggs is you can't be top dog forever. There's always a faster gun out there. You know, there's always another top dog out there. And WWE is it's still the MLB. This isn't saying like, that's it, it's over, they're crushed. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we are seeing a transition of power. We're seeing a transition of viewership, a transition of perspectives, a transition of taste. And, the fans are speaking louder, and there's so many other options out that it's totally okay for, for people to do something different. And that in and of itself is what's shaking the behemoth to its core. You know, you can't be top dog forever. That's the premise I was going with. That's my final thought.
Theron, do you have a final thought? Theron moved his mic. I hope he's still on here. I do not have a final thought.
I'll be right back with my final thought.
Okay, cool. I'll give a quick final thought while Theron's final thing. I was going to say AEW's ratings. AEW, something we didn't get to talk about. AEW's ratings killed NXT's rating last week. That was only 1 week, but AEW got 1.4 million viewers. Well, NXT got 890,000. So it's like almost a $600 person difference, which is I don't know, like in TV numbers, but I guess that was a lot. People were saying that they were kind of shocked that AEW came out right out of the gates and beat NXT just like that, because WWE promoted it so hard, loaded up the card, commercial free for some of it, went extra time, went 15 minutes over. Had the 3 title matches. They were kind of surprised that AEW just beat them so easily in the ratings. Like, I don't know how applicable TV ratings are in 2019 with like streaming services and people watching stuff on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, and people watching by GIFs and stuff. But it's still another number to chew on, and still like another win for AEW, even if it's only for 1 week. And I guess we'll see what the ratings are tomorrow for tonight's episodes of NXT and AEW. But that's one in the can for AEW, which is kind of interesting.
All right, T-Monies.
Let's all just smile. Everyone just put a smile on and enjoy the fact that we have 3 to 5 brands of wrestling that we can tune into. We have WWE at the top still, just because they have the most money as far as worth and value. Then we have AEW, who has literally kicked the door down, busting down the door, kicking Vince McMahon right in the crotch area, trying to get him to wake up. He's still not waking up. Then you got NWA Power, and then you got some other companies that we won't talk about, like TNA. There, I talked to them. So I mean, it's just an exciting time to be a wrestling fan. It's exciting to have this Wednesday night war between NXT, which is supposed to be this minor league brand, but they're really not. And then WWE. It's exciting to see what AEW is going to do in the weeks to come. It's exciting to see if WWE does anything in the weeks to come. So yeah, man, it's good stuff. And the Kabuki Warriors are your new women's tag team champions of the world. So Asuka is alive, because we were just talking about her being a really cool Super Mario Maker level maker, or whatever that game is called. So hey, if they can save the Kabuki Warriors, they can save everything else that they're doing. Yeah, that's all I got. Right. And hopefully Brock Lesnar loses that WWE Championship to somebody.
In due time. Real quick, last question. What's the next pay-per-view?
It's going to be the Crown Jewel. I just told you.
Oh, that's right, Crown Jewel. Okay.
It's on during the day on Thursday, October 31st, though. So I don't know how many people are going to watch it.
You say it's on a Thursday, not a Friday?
It's on a Thursday. Yep, it's on Thursday, October 31st, so during the day. Yeah.
That doesn't count then. So then it's going to have to be Survivor Series, right?
Correct. Yeah, I don't know when Survivor Series is, but yeah, that would be the next pay-per-view after that.
I think they're gonna do a brand versus brand match again. Not that no one cares about that; those are just bragging rights. But that is in the cards for SmackDown or Survivor Series 2019.
Man, that seems like a far, far away distance. Survivor Series is November 24th, 2019, and then War Games is the night before, NXT War Games.
War Games will be awesome. I just want you to know that at the Jules Shillelagh, they're doing a 5-on-5 Team Flair versus Team Hogan match. Wouldn't that be the same
from
idea?
Phoenix, Arizona, Portland,
That's a good question, Dan.
Dallas, Texas.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Not
That's
the
the fact
best
of
note for
why
W
Philip
end on.
Ever wear his hair down.
Oh my gosh. All right, cool. Well, thanks for listening to the Bros Before Elbows Pro Wrestling Podcast. Again, you can subscribe on Podbean and iTunes. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube. Share the show with a friend. Thanks for listening.
Elbow drop your friends, people.
Put on a smile. Everyone just smile.